Hi, Nicole. I'm good. I'm hungover. I keep
Oh,
forgetting questions as people ask them, so bear with me.
you obviously didn't form a bond with Brandon, but was there anyone else you clicked with naturally on your tribe?
Yes. I would say I actually did click with Brandon. I slept with Brandon and Matthew, who both ultimately ended up in my demise. So we were all friends. I did really like them, but we were not going to play Survivor together, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The person I wanted to play Survivor with, Payne Fritzler. I love him. I think he's so smart. We thought about the game the same way. He's a nerd. I'm a nerd. He was just the best person to play with. And we would work from the outside and protect each other and then come together and talk, and then go and do a plan and watch people and report back. And I really meshed with Kane. I also love my girls. I'm one of five sisters. I have four sisters. And I hate that come the first tribal, it's always the guys being like, hey, like, we're going to get out the what is perceived as weak. What does that mean? Woman. And that's exactly what happened. They were coming up to me telling me who to vote for. And I was like, not having it. I was like, no, we're not doing that. That makes no sense for me. And I'm protecting my girls. So I fell on a sword a bit. But I definitely protected them.
You did. I mean, we did just come from a season where it was a record of women leaving the game first, and it was amazing to see you actually flip that dynamic. So, the skills of convincing everyone to take out possibly like the biggest guy on the tribe because of the perception of keep the tribe strong. What do you chalk that up to that you were able to actually get the votes for that?
Okay, Nicole, when I am going to Lauren, who is very close with Brandon, said she would never vote for him, which is why she ended up playing her advantage, etc. Um, when I went to her and I said, he is the godfather. He's the kingpin. He's playing everyone. That's called projection. I was the godfather. I was the kingpin. I was playing everyone. And so I wasn't scared of Brandon, but I needed everyone else to be afraid of Brandon because Brandon didn't want to work with me. Um, so yeah,
I love that. I'm actually a little surprised though that you said that you were not going to play Survivor with Matthew because I just didn't see that distance in the episode. Can you talk a little bit about that? And also, I wondered why did Matthew not get the same label? Because it kind of seems like he has a lot of power.
I'm so glad you asked this because everyone's like, why do Maddie and Brandon hate each other? And the truth is my number one target from day one, Matthew. I'll tell you why. Matthew is a wild card. That dude's gonna play a crazy game. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's gonna do something crazy. You know how I know that? I'm a wild card. I real recognize real. I don't know how to play with someone like me because I don't know what they're going to do next. Someone like Brandon, I know how he's going to play. That's why I was able to manipulate a vote around him because I knew exactly, I thought, how he would play things. So, my number one person I wanted out from the very beginning was Matthew. And when you see me go to Matthew and tell him the plan, that's where Survivor kicks in. And it was desperation. I wanted to tell Kane, but I couldn't find Kane. So then I had to tell Matthew. And that's what sunk my ship because Matthew definitely let Brandon in on the vote. In Survivor history, I am a huge fan. Never has anyone ever played their idol at the first tribal council. And Brandon's an old school player. That guy wants to play with tribe strength. He wanted to just get Jamie out or Lauren out. I wasn't having that. But I knew how he was going to play. So I'm like, okay, I'll call his bluff. Like, let's go into tribal. He thinks that we're going to vote for Jamie. Maybe he'll play his idol, but like, let's see it. Like, do it. It's never been done before. Do it. And when it comes to like, who am I going to bet on? I'll always bet on myself. So it was a 50-50 play, but I thought it would work. Obviously, that's why I did it. And if it had worked, I mean, it's that line of like, if it doesn't work, then you're crazy. If it does work, you're a genius. No one has ever gone home first, not as a majority vote, ever.
Yeah, how do you feel about
Nobody's
that? Because this tribal council, not only that, but also the shot in the dark was played, and I literally tweeted, I was like, if this is the moment that shot in the dark actually works, and it was, I was like, what is this tribal council, and what is this season starting off on this note? So how does it feel to go out with so many first?
um I knew that the way that I was going to play the game was going to be gnarly. And I don't know if I definitely thought I could win, but I more so thought that I was just going to play a hell of a game and probably uh trip at some point. Um and I did play a hell of a game and trip at some point just too early. So I knew that whatever way I went out, it was going to be some iconic, crazy history making thing because my perspective on Survivor is like, play it from the beginning. We know that if you play safe till the merge, that increases your chances and then you can rev up at the merge. But we're also seeing that's not benefiting people anymore. Like you need a longer road in a short game to make crazy moves. And I'm kind of the kind of person, I don't like to orbit around people. I like to get people to like orbit with me and do what I want to do. And if that's not typically how people play Survivor, but if anyone could pull it off, it was gonna be me. And we see that in the first episode. Like I almost pulled that off.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had a longer run with it, you're in a pretty good position for a final three if you're doing that over and over and over and over. And I just wanted to do something new. I wasn't going to play quiet till the merge.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just going to go full throttle the whole time. So it doesn't surprise me that I went out like that. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Was there any talk of Matthew going home first because of his injuries?
There should have been more. There wasn't because it was just one of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's like was the only reasonable thing to everyone except for me. And I wish that when I had put the plan in motion with Brandon that I would have pivoted and gone for Matthew because my gut was right. He was the bigger threat. And even though I'll say this, I thought Matthew was giving me more of a sense that there might be an inroad with him.
Yeah.
And Brandon was giving me a sense that there was no inroad with him. I tried, and he talked to the hand. He was like, no, stay away from me, bitch. Like
when you say one of the girls, is it that one of the girls said throughout Matthew's name, or he was being treated like one of the girls? I just want to clarify.
Sorry. There was only ever talk of one of the women going.
Oh,
There was never talk of Matthew going.
okay, got it.
And I think I was the only person with an interest to get Matthew out because everybody thought he was working with them, except for me. Yeah. For me, it could have been Matthew or Brandon, but Brandon had given me more opposition in the days before. And so I was like, okay, like this is a dead end.
Got it. We see Claire out Lauren for lying about what happened on the journey to Matthew. We saw Matthew then talk about it with Brandon, but did you hear about this? Was there a conversation? Okay. What was
Yeah, there definitely was. Well, I already knew that Lauren had the advantage, so I wasn't upset. She told me separately, which again shows my positioning in the game. Like people are telling me things. But Matthew didn't know. So it was a big bomb that he dropped. Everybody was so shocked. I'm sitting there like, of course I knew. But great move by Claire. I had never seen that before. Someone on the bench like screwing up other tribes' games. So yeah, pretty cool move. Love the girls playing hard.
Yes. You obviously had multiple players on your tribe who were savvy, but who would you say was the top player based on the first episode, top performance?
On my tribe?
Yes.
I would say Kane and I were running Ratu. Um, and in that way, us, but Matthew's move was really good. Um, Playing a shot in the dark so he doesn't have to vote for anyone, telling Brandon that I was after him so that Brandon would play the idol. Brandon was not playing that idol
Yeah.
without someone telling him. There's no way. He almost went home. And so that's a brilliant props to Brandon for listening, but that's a brilliant move by Matthew. I feel a little bit like he stole my homework and put his name on it. But he dunked on me. He got me.
Okay. Did you try to talk Jamie out of playing her shot in the dark? And how did that conversation end?
Um, we see that a little bit. She says, "What if I play my shot in the dark?" And I say, "Don't do it." I'm not I think it was okay that she played her shot in the dark. I was not obsessed with I need all the numbers. It was I need enough numbers. And I was pretty confident going into that tribal that if I could keep Brandon comfortable, then he wouldn't play his idol. And if he doesn't play his idol, Brandon goes home. So I didn't care what Jamie did. What was the issue was that she talked a lot. And that I think Brandon was very likely to play his idol going in, but that just cemented it.
Mhm.
And I could have stirred some crap up. I mean, that's what I do well. Like I created all this chaos at camp, and then I thought, let me just be quiet and maybe it'll work out and I can squeak by. No, I should have done what I do best. I should have gotten that whole tribal up in a tizzy so nobody knows where things are going to land. Like, I think that I could have salvaged it. And at the end of the day, like, I feel like I fell on my own sword and I don't have anyone to blame. Like, we all played hard.
So you said Jamie talks a lot. From our reads, Jamie's like emotions are kind of on the surface and just seems like a nervous player, which is fair. But how did that come across as like a potential ally? Did you talk about this specifically with Lauren at all?
Yeah, there's more to Jamie than meets the eye, and people need to know that. She's a thinker, and I think that she was right to what does Jamie lose from talking a lot at tribal? What does she lose from playing her shot in the dark? Not a lot. It threw me under the bus, but for her game, it's not so bad. Um, I think there's more to Jamie than meets the eye. And I think she's a strong player. And that's why I resented when the guys were like, Jamie's one of the weakest players. I didn't believe that at all. And I wanted her to stay and I wanted to work with her. So I think I'm excited to see her game.
Yeah, I
Don't
definitely,
underestimate her.
I'm not underestimating her. I think the big thing is just you do have to play for yourself in Survivor, number one. But I think the other management then is, but how do I come across as trustworthy and like stable to my allies? And that's what I was wondering from your perspective, if she, and from Lauren, since she's still there, if she's still seen as like, well, I can count on her. She's not going to bail on me when I need her.
Right. Yeah. I think she'll have some have to build some bridges, I think, after this.
Okay.
Matthew too.
My very last question. Why do you think Matthew played his shot in the dark?
I think it was a great move. He didn't want anyone to know what he was thinking. And that's a good way to have someone else do your dirty work, which is exactly what he did.
Was it a complete surprise to you?
Not a complete surprise, but obviously I bet on myself going in. So I wasn't shocked, but obviously disappointed. I'd still bet on myself again. I think if we do that again, I come out on top.